Israeli president claims that Mein Kampf was found in a Gaza's child's room. So this is some pretty ridiculous propaganda here. Israeli President Isaac Herzog claimed in an interview with BBC on Sunday that Israeli forces found a copy of Adolf Hitler's Mein Kampf in a child's bedroom in northern Gaza. And this is really Herzog's latest attempt to justify the mass killing of Palestinian civilians that's going on. So he claimed that the child's bedroom was turned into a terrorist base and that the book was found on the body of a Hamas fighter. He said, quote, "The terrorist wrote notes, marked the sections, and studied again and again the ideology of Adolf Hitler, to hate the Jews, to kill the Jews, to burn and slaughter Jews wherever they are," end quote. So it's really something that he's saying here, that they found a dead Hamas guy with a copy of Adolf Hitler's book in a child's bedroom in Gaza. You know, what's the implication there? Oh, we got to bomb kids in, child's bedrooms. And he's previously, presented some sketchy evidence. Recently, he was showing a document that he claimed was an Al-Qaeda manual that showed how to make chemical weapons. But it turns out he was displaying the cover of an amateur biography of Ramzi Youssef, who's one of the perpetrators of the World Trade Center bombing. And it contained no directions on making chemical weapons, according to a copy of the book. So keep that in mind. And so when he held up that Al-Qaeda thing, he said, we're dealing with Al-Qaeda, we're dealing with ISIS, Hamas, they're all the same. And that's part of this propaganda effort to point to the U.S. War against ISIS from 2014 to, the heaviest was up to 2017, 2018, when they were bombing them in Mosul and in Raqqa, Syria. The U.S., they did a ton of airstrikes and they killed thousands and thousands of civilians. I believe in Mosul it was around 10,000 civilians. So they're pointing at that and saying, but that was over 9 months. That what's happening in Gaza has just been over a month. But anyway, pointing to that and saying, see, you guys killed a lot of civilians when you fought ISIS, and also going back to World War II and the firebombing of Tokyo, the bombing of Dresden, dropping the atomic bombs on Japan. That's all part of the propaganda. And Herzog also previously argued that there were no innocent civilians in Gaza. He said, quote, "It is an entire nation out there that is responsible. It is not true, this rhetoric about civilians not being aware, not involved. It's absolutely not true," end quote. Oh, so I put the latest death toll from Gaza's health ministry in there that I wanted to mention. So they say more than 11,000 Palestinians have been killed, including over 4,500 children. And over the weekend, there's been a lot of attacks on hospitals. There's a lot of fighting around the Al-Shifa hospital, which is where the Gazan health ministry official who reports all this stuff is based. And there's about a day or two where nobody heard, he didn't put out any updated numbers because they're losing communications to all the other hospitals, because the way they're counting it is hospitals and morgues are reporting to him the people that are killed and the bodies that they have. And it's getting harder and harder for those communications to continue.